Hello, welcome. Who's here? Who's here? Let's see. Oh, I see a few people I recognize. Welcome. I'm going to get to you. Hello, hello. Let's see who's in the chatmosphere early. Good. I see Bea Nessing. Hello, Karen. Welcome. Yes. Who else is here? Oh my, let's see. This is great to see you early. Oh, IG Roller Disco. Yes, you are. You're here with us. And oh, Dr. Hogwash. I love that name, Dr. Hogwash. Hello, welcome to anybody viewing on a recap. I want to jump right in because it's a lot to cover. We are now up to episode 35 in our retrospective of American culture. And this would be 1999. Prince told us all about it, did he not? He wrote that song in what year? I want to see who knows their Minneapolis history. Who knows their foundational Black American history? Foundational Black American Rogers Nelson, Prince Rogers Nelson of Minneapolis. Yes, Minneapolis. We can't get it twisted about who is of the foundations. When did Prince write 1999? Let me know out there. Anybody? So he told us about it. We might go through the lyrics. I don't want to play his music because it's a whole lot of I don't know. It seems that there's a lot of suspicious things that have gone on with Prince and his catalog and what happened during after his I'll say it, mysterious death. I don't think Prince's death was normal, right? I think it was kind of shady. So something went on with the Tidal streaming deal with Jay-Z. You probably heard all about it because we're all caught up. Aren't we caught up with all the hottest tea out there? We know that Prince had some kind of issue with his music streaming and Jay-Z and Tidal. Something went on allegedly that wasn't so kosher. And I don't know. I'm starting to question a lot. I've been hearing a lot of stuff on the streets of America. They say the streets are talking, and no one's going to be able to shut up the streets. So we're going to hear more about these kind of things like Prince and all of the weird deaths that have happened, right? You remember Sheryl Crow. Yeah, that was some tea. Sheryl Crow and Lance Armstrong. Let's bring up the first, our title slide. Thank you, Marlon. I'm going to nickname Marlon. I told him I'm going to call him Marmar. Marmar. Let's do it with the first title slide, Marmar. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's analyze. Am I in the way? Am I in the way? Can you see everything? Let me know. Okay. Did anybody give me a year for when? Oh, you guys are talking in the chatmosphere. Did any Prince fans tell me when Prince wrote 1999? What year was it? I'm curious if you know. Okay. Excuse me if I used to know the words. I was so into Prince back in high school and stuff and college. You think it was 1982? Oh, it was? Okay, Dr. Hogwash is sure about this. IG Roller Disco, she is questioning. You were right. According to Dr. Hogwash, you're right. 1982. So, what a long time to write a song that would now really have a moment, another moment. But now we finally reached 1999. I never imagined, like, wow, we're finally here. Prince did his song, his big one, right? You said it is said that he wrote 1999 after watching a documentary of Nostradamus. Really? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Well, thank you for letting me know that. Uh, Wild Dragon 420, welcome. Thank you for hanging out with us again from Canada. How's it going up there? So, okay, Y2K was the psyop of that moment. And I say psyop so much that I don't have a better word for what we have been taken through as a collective in the Western world. I'll say Western world because I don't know about other types of nations if they have been putting their citizens through all of these psyops that we've been going through. And I'm talking about the global ones. I know that everybody seemed to magically be in on one accord in 2020, right? Wasn't that weird? Everybody agreed to it, just like everybody agrees to the Antarctic treaty agreement. They all seem to agree on these things, and it makes you. Isn't that suspicious, right? Or don't you find that suspicious that they all agree on certain things and then they seem to not agree or pretend to not agree? I'll just say that. Okay, so this title slide, you already know we're going to deal with time. And what is time? We know that we have been conditioned to accept time based on the Gregorian calendar. Am I correct? Are we on the Julian calendar, Gregorian calendar? There's an Ethiopian calendar. There's even another calendar that let's see, it's the new era began, and this is the Kalani. I'm not pronouncing Kalani calendar, which is the oldest material Celtic calendar. So that happened in 1999, where a new era began for this ancient, oldest Celtic calendar. So you have people that might go by this Kalani calendar, and they were already in a new era in 1999. So the psyop of time and how we've been taken through a lot of different paces, and they've told us cover stories for why they have manipulated our time based on our clock as well as our calendars. And a lot of us are feeling like everything is out of sync and it's hard to explain it. Well, that's how a lot of people felt in 1999. They felt like something was not in sync. Do you remember how you felt in 1999? Hey, Juan, welcome. Do you remember how that felt? Because people did report feeling that time was strange and there was a sense of panic. Well, of course, the media conditioned us to expect some kind of doom and gloom. That's what we always deal with in our media. And, you know, they really took time to play this whole psyop up. And people were sensing that we were having a glitch. And we were, because people fed into, including myself. You said we're on the Julian calendar. What did I say? The Gregorian. Is that a wish? I don't know. I don't care what calendar they say we're on. We're on the Julian calendar. Sorry, of course it was Roman. Duh. A Gregorian, no, we're not on that. We're on the Julian calendar that we've agreed to. And we have to think about these agreements that we have made. You said time is on your side. Oh, good. I love that. Yes, when you understand time, yes, it's on your side. But when you panic, like a lot of us did, 1999, we were expecting things to go haywire from our computers that we now became attached to. Because if we had this weird glitch happen before the internet and computer age, it would not have been possible to do this Y2K thing because it was based on computers that they may crash because they won't know how to turn over to a new millennium. Wasn't that the fear? And when you think about it, it's very weird. And they even told us that the banking system might fail, and also planes will fall out of the sky. And it sounds a lot like the hysteria around the rapture. If you think about it, when I can think about it now, as I've come out of a lot of the programming that I was under, I can, I don't know. It just seems like this feels like the rapture type of thing. And yeah, the panic around it, the millennium anxiety, and people were prepping. If you remember, were you prepping? Were you freaked out? I don't think I had time to be very freaked out. I was really busy around that time. So I don't know, I didn't focus on it. I was in another world. I was in corporate America, and that's like being in a cult. I was in a cult called corporate America, called the pharmaceutical company industry. So I worked in big pharma. So I was under a deep, deep spell. Okay, I'm not kidding. So 1999, you might as well say this is when Generation X, Gen X pretty much became adults. So they were adulting. So that was a big milestone for the generations. And we had a lot of things like the dot coms, like, do you remember pets.com? And it was a lot of weird things around that. So let's look at our first slide and get through the 1999 rewind. And I want you all to help me with something that I noticed. You know, the patterns, that's what we want, is to notice patterns and connect dots. And again, this is a group project. I am not an expert. I do not ever profess to be. I'm just a curious, I am a curious student, okay? I have an intellectual curiosity. I've always had that. So I like working on group projects that are big like this. So I welcome your feedback. I've noticed some new names that have been dropping by the comment section, and I want to thank you for like great comments. And I try to read all the comments. Maybe I have missed some of the threads. Please forgive me. I've been juggling a few things, and I know I've been missing some of the things, but just know that it's not on purpose. I would love to answer every single comment if I could. Okay, so just bear with me on that. I'm a one person, me and Marmar. We're two people operation here. Please, okay. Please give us some grace, right, Marmar? Please, and we appreciate you. Oh, we thank you all. So back to this Y2K. Now they had an HBO special. Now, this is the kind of thing I would like to watch, but I'm not a big streamer in terms of watching television shows, or I'm not good at doing it consistently. I have loved some of the Netflix specials, and when they have their cycles of shows. I have loved those in the past, but I haven't been doing it lately. I got on to watch the Diddy documentary, of course. Of course, I was going to watch the Diddy documentary. What did you say, Juan? You said I was not freaked out. Good. I educated you. Okay, good. You educate yourself beyond schooling. That is the mark of true intelligence. Hey, Raylene, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Hey, the guru is here. Welcome, the guru. Yeah, that is a sign of intelligence. Wyoming chick, yes, hello. You said so it's 1999 tonight. Yeah, I wish I could play the music and get all. That's my dream. I would like this to be a real radio station, y'all, where I'm talking and in between my slides or something, I could play a song from that year. That's what me and Marmar were doing, okay? That's why I was trying to tell you all, come head over there where I can play music, okay? And really treat it like a radio station. I've been trying to get the perfect balance. But it's like licensing, and that is an issue, but it's something that it's something I'm putting out there as a wish list, that I could combine a lot of these things. Maybe TikTok, because they have live. I've watched them have DJs right on TikTok. I don't know. I haven't worked out the whole TikTok live thing. I'm working on it. I'm warming up. I don't know. But for now, let's just do this. We just won't have music, until we can, I guess, until we could figure it out. So IG roller disco, you say, so that's when the Bushes started plotting 9/11. Yes, I see where you're going with that. I do. I see where you're going. Yep. Okay, so we have what they titled this HBO special Time Bomb Y2K. Now, I find that fascinating that they would call it a time bomb, as in, what were you all doing? What were you plotting? As my sister, my hermana, has said, that the Bushes are somewhere in the bushes plotting 9/11, allegedly, in our opinions. Okay. And if we only knew what we knew now, then I don't know. Could we change history? Remember, we watched that show it was a Netflix special about 1962, and it dealt with the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And it talked about, like, if you could have gone back and changed it, would it really have been the right thing to do to go back in history and change history? And my answer to that is, I'm not into playing God. I'm not into people playing with the Most High Yah's, his domain. I believe we have our domain and he has his domain. And I believe time is his domain and creation. Hey, the apothecary. Oh my goodness. The flower apothecary. Greetings. You said, hey, you're checking in. Thank you. You remember 1999. Yes, you helped reset. You said you helped reset the whole MARTA computer system here in Atlanta with one of your coworkers. Whoa. Now I know you could give us a good decode. Probably let me know, sis, if now that you're looking at it in retrospect, have you been able to think about like something that was off about it now that you're saying that you were working with the reset, dealing with MARTA? And can you put her comment back up, Marmar? Flower apothecary, sister, about MARTA. I want to say something about what she's just mentioned. If you could put her comment back up. The greetings, fam. Yes, that. Okay. Sis, please let me know if you have done anything with having a download or upload something, okay? But what I want to ask you all is, I'm thinking about this in real time. She's saying that she helped to reset the whole MARTA computer system in Atlanta. Now, MARTA is a train. If you don't know that, that's the train system that runs through Atlanta. And they joke around about it. MARTA stands for Moving Africans Through Atlanta Rapidly, right? Remember all those jokes about MARTA? Moving Africans Through Atlanta. That's what my dad used to tell a lot of those jokes. Okay. You know, the inside jokes that you tell in the car, in the kitchen. And that was one of them. So, MARTA being a train system, our time is largely connected to trains. And there's something about our relationship to trains and railways and the old world, and how they've had to adjust time based on a lot of these things. But we still, when you think about it, we're still moving around on trains, but they have made our trains less opulent. Because if you think about MARTA, yes, it's SMARTA. See, there's another Atlantean. She knows about MARTA. Used to take it into town to go to Georgia State. Yeah, you better. You don't want to drive, right? Back in the early 90s. Yes, it's great for that kind of stuff. MARTA is not SMARTA. You use just a disk. Remember disk? Yes, you put them in the computers to prevent any spamware from. Oh, wow. Wow, that's so amazing to hear. I love these kind of techie. I'm sorry, please excuse me. And we're a little bit geeky here. If you're new to the Chatmosphere, we can take a geeky kind of side quest here and there. I won't stay on this too long, but it's because I'm excited that, you know, with her mentioning MARTA and the trains and time and our whole issue with time in America, and what have they been doing to our time to steal it? They have stolen it. They've siphoned it. They've used it vampirically because it is energy. Time is energy, as currency is energy. It's a current, like an electrical current of energy in the spirit world. And the way that the laws of reciprocity and I don't know, you tell me, the laws around money and things like that. But I am working up to the spoon, probably. You never know. But I don't want to stay on this too long. But the Y2K, I am still ruminating through what was that? What did they do to us? Okay, so let's move on. Time is a construct. It is something that can be manipulated in different ways. We know that. It is not linear. It is cyclical. Yeah. Okay, next slide. Let's see what else we have going on, because I want you to help me figure some stuff out. And I think Ricky Martin was a prophet, y'all. He was saying he is living La Vida Loca. And that's exactly what this was. This was the vibe of 1999, and I didn't realize it. Ricky Martin was telling us. Prince was telling us, okay? Prince was letting us know. I'm going to party like it's 1999. What did he say? 2000? Party over. Oops, out of time. Oh my goodness. He said out of time. So out of time means we're outside of time. The time that okay. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to grab the spoon in a minute. Are you feeling like the spoon has to come out? Because, why did we let them do this to us? They were playing in our faces. La Vida Loca. They're laughing at us. We are being mocked, y'all. Okay, Marmar, go to the next slide, because I'm going to get myself mad, and I'm going to grab the spoon, and it's just going to be ridiculous, okay? All right. All right, let's go. Let's look at the next. Bye, Ricky Martin. Bye. Okay, so this is the fashion. Can you believe they were doing low-rise jeans and okay, plumber crack was fashionable. And ick. So the fashion was very icky and it led to maybe this was part of the reason that the guys started sagging their pants. I don't know. I don't know when the sagging pants happened for the young men, but I'm ick. Okay, so we're looking at the fashion. Look at what's happened to us, people. And I am very interested in our culture from the standpoint of how we dressed through these various resets, and it really informs me of a lot of our where we are with our mental health. It correlates to how we present ourselves via fashion. And I'm not speaking like I dress like a Victorian. You know what I'm saying? Look at me. I'm in a t-shirt, for goodness sake. But hey, I have a scarf on. My grandma Stormy would be happy because she always wore scarves and brooches, and she was a well put together woman. That's how all of them were. And I really got on her nerves because I was so casual. And my other grandmother hated that I wanted to wear black all the time. She was like, "What's wrong with you?" So fashion informs you of a lot. So here we are. Y2K fashion. Okay, next slide. And then you got the tramp stamps and everything. If anybody has a tramp stamp and you have regrets, let me know. Let us know. Put something? What would a good tramp stamp emoji be? I don't know. Put a leopard or something in there. I don't know. Okay, so we have the up and coming Nancy Mace. I don't know how you feel about her, but I like her spunk. She's a spunky lady. And I didn't know that she was one of the first women to graduate from the Citadel Military Academy. So Nancy Mace is nobody to play with, apparently. Okay, and she put that letter A on her, and she stunts on them, and I love it. I love the stunts when they're done well. They really are fun to watch. But I wish we could just stop all of this, okay, and just restructure our government, because it is now a parody of a government. It is now, it's gone to idiocracy. Yeah. So we need to reset it all. I don't know how you do it, but we need to. Let's see, Mary Welsh. Welcome, Mary Welsh Muslim. You are tattoo free here. Never wanted to do that. Good. And that is the new flex, everybody. I don't listen. Look, I'm not proud of this. I got a tattoo in my old age. Can you imagine? I was suckered into doing this. And I told you all my story. Listen, this is my only tattoo, and I waited till I was old to do something so foolish. But it was a barber, because I'm a barber also. That's one of my many skill sets. And one of the barbers had cancer, and we were raising funds for him. And in the barbering profession, there are a lot of tattoos. And so he's really tatted up. And I went to do part of the fundraiser going to support him. And I decided, okay, I'm doing it for a good cause. I'm going to get a tattoo to raise money for his cancer treatment. And that is why I got this tattoo. And it says nimble. It's supposed to say nimble, but the tattoo artist wasn't listening to me, and just it wasn't a good communication going, because I guess they were pressured, all of the people that showed up to get tattoos that day for the, for the cause. And that was the worst time to get it, but I'm glad I got this little tattoo, and it's starting to fade a little bit, but I need to get it taken off because it's something that my father asked me never to do. He did. When I was a teenager, I wanted to get a tattoo, and I spoke with my father about it, and he told me, do not ever get tattooed. He said, we do not get tattoos, letting me know that my bloodline, my lineage, we are not supposed to tattoo ourselves. That is for other nations and other lineages and cultures. But my people, the Washingtons, were not supposed to tattoo themselves. And the foundational Black Americans that belong to my lineage and culture, we are forbidden to tattoo ourselves. I'm sorry, everybody, FBAs. You may not like me saying it, but I am an elder stateswoman, and I'm telling you what it is. We're not supposed to do it, and I was rebellious, and I repent of it. And I don't want any young FBAs to tattoo their bodies and stuff. We're not supposed to. And I'll explain more about that in other conversations, right? But I just want to say that, yeah, tattoo regret is something that is unfortunate for the ones that blindly went into a trend and not understanding that it's a cultural thing. And if you're not of a certain culture, you're not getting cultural markings on yourself. You're just doing something for a trend, and it's not even beautiful. If you're going to get a tattoo, get a good artist, and you're going to have to spend money. It's nothing worse than seeing a beautiful woman or handsome man with cheap ass tattoos that look like my cats did it, okay? Like a cat fight or something. Or prison tattoos, or you took a pencil, remember back, and you took the eraser and burned it into your skin. Like, come on, the regret is gonna regret, okay? Because I regret this stupid ass, because the person I did this for, now listen to this. You might want to, do good, be a do-gooder and do something for somebody. And then look, 2020 hits, and I start to diverge from a lot of people that I knew. Ideologically, I started going in a different direction. So these people don't like me anymore. So here I am getting a tattoo for somebody who doesn't even talk to me because of my ideology. So there you are. I feel stupid, okay? But I should have listened to my father. You see how that works? I should have listened to my father. So there you are, right? Learn, you live and you learn. Okay, so Nancy Mace, back to her. She's giving them the business, clocking it in Congress, right? Is she not? No regrets. Mine are my own designs. Okay, good. See, if you can defend your tattoos, then I'm with you. I'm with you when you can defend it. But if you have regrets, then what do you think I'm a have? Okay? If you like it, I love it. Okay? That's how it is. All right, so anyway, next slide before I get in trouble with my Hermana, because she said I did my designs. So just zip it, Jennifer. Okay, I'm gonna get off of the tattoo thing because I know these are touchy subjects. All right, I don't want to fall out with you over here. All right, so now we find out that President Clinton has been acquitted. Yes. Did we really think that he was going to get impeached? But he technically did get impeached, but he continued to whatever. So I still wanted to look at Hillary again, shooting this look. I love it. I love this is the Hillary that I loved. I love this Hillary. She was fun. Where is this Hillary? Bring her back, or maybe not. I don't know what the heck is going on. But anyway, Bill was acquitted. Next slide. What else can you say? He's a scoundrel. They call him Teflon Don. He's a Teflon. Oh, what happened? Did my slide get mixed up? What happened? What happened? What happened? Okay, no, you're right. You're right. You got it right. Okay, so in 1999, who watched Jenny Jones? Jenny Jones. I forgot about her. Jenny Jones was quite wow. She was a firecracker, was she not? So she had a talk show. For anybody who doesn't know this, she was one of our talk show people. And her show was so ghetto. It was one of those ghetto Jerry Seinfeld type. We had a lot of these ghetto shows. When you think about it, what did that do to our minds? We were watching this horrible talk show television. Horrible. Including Oprah. Yeah. Including Oprah. That's right. Trash. Garbage. So Jenny Jones had a situation where she would do that gotcha kind of journalism. I don't know what you want to call it, where she would have somebody spill the tea on somebody else. And it's like a gotcha moment. And something happened between these two dudes where one of them spilled some tea that it was like on and popping, and he unalived. Okay, I have to remember. He unalived somebody based on what was said on the talk show on Jenny Jones. And they tried to sue. Well, they didn't try. They sued Jenny Jones's production, I guess. The whole thing. Probably sued her cat, her dog, her plants. Everything got sued. That's probably why we don't hear from Jenny Jones anymore. And that was smart, Jenny Jones, to fade into the bushes, girl. You probably she might have gotten surgeries and might be among us as another person. I don't know. She could be still in the media, just made her hair dark. I don't know. Could we be looking at Jenny Jones maybe in another character? Hey, did I tell you that tonight was going to be very tinfoily? So if you don't like the foil, if you're not loyal to the foil, then I'm just letting you know. I'm giving you a chance. Okay? Just to know it's going to get foily. So yeah. So they were found liable. I think you meant Jerry Springer. What did I say? Yeah, I mean Jerry Springer. You're right. I mean Jerry Springer. Yeah. Isn't that funny? Jerry Springer was the mayor. Wait a minute. Hold it. Can somebody help me? No, I'm going to look it up. Bear with me. Talk among yourselves. Talk among yourselves. Wait a minute. I got to find out. What was the city that was it? Baltimore? Jerry Springer was a politician. Jerry Springer. Is he still alive? Anybody? Let me see. Politician. His political career. Okay. You forgot about Jenny Jones. Terrible show. It was a horrible show. And Jenny Jones, okay, I just got this flashback of how horrible. Okay, I would watch her show. I don't know why. I would watch it sometimes. But do you all remember this? I can hardly get it out for laughing. Okay. Jenny Jones, if you're watching, girl, you are shady as hell. So Jenny Jones would, stand up like she is here on the People magazine cover. So she got her microphone, not unlike us today. These are the precursors for the podcast and the stuff that we're doing now on YouTube, okay? So this is pre-YouTube. So she's got her microphone, and basically she's having a podcast. And I would look at her face, okay? This is what I remember of Jenny Jones. I would look at her face and she would have this smirk on her face. Do you all know what I'm talking about? It was a smirk. Do you know what I mean? Like a smirk? Somebody, do you know like a smart ass? Have you ever been in the presence of a smart ass where everything they say is condescending, is what you know what like a smart ass, a smart aleck, all those terms. Well, this is what Jenny Jones, like, I would look at her face and she'd have this smirk, like maybe she was above everybody and she had to do this. She lost a bet or something. I don't know. And she had to do this like low life television. And she's looking at everybody like, you scumbags. And you could just see it in her face. And it was funny. That added another layer of hilarity, is that she looked like she was looking at everybody with a disgust, you know? And who knows? Jenny Jones might be a trust fund kid, right? She might be like, I'm just saying, it's a story there. She might be like a kid from from one of those families, one of those 13 families. I'm just saying. But anyway, she disappeared, and that was smart of her, because you can't come back after this kind of thing. What are you going to do after two people killed unalived another because of your television show? So it's over. Okay, so that's why it's been over. Bye, Jenny. Next slide. Okay, so back to Jerry Springer. He had a notable political career before becoming a television host. He served on the Cincinnati. That's you out there in Ohio. So you had Jerry Springer as city council, and then he was the mayor for Cincinnati. So he works, wait a minute, while also working as a political campaign advisor for Robert F. Kennedy. Jerry Springer? Wow. This is 1968. Jerry Springer was the political campaign advisor for Robert F. Kennedy. Who would have known that? Whoa. I'm glad I looked that up. That was something I didn't expect, huh? Boy. Wow. Okay, so 1999, like I told you, you all put your seatbelts on, because this year was really crazy. Like I told you, Ricky Martin told us living la vida loca. He said it, and it was. 1999 was something of, I don't know what it was. Tell me what it was. Okay, so we had what they called the trench coat mafia. And this put chills in me when I heard about the cold-blooded nature of this event in our American history. These high schoolers, Dylan and whatever, I don't even want to look their names up, but you know the monsters on the screen. But they were the outcast according to the narrative. They were the children that people would bully and tease. They were the offbeat children among the popular children. But what they targeted, who they targeted in their massacre, cold-blooded massacre of their fellow peers, it wasn't like they came in and didn't know. They're walking among their peers, hunting them like animals. And they had, like, it seems they had a vendetta against certain students. And it could have been a jealousy and envy for certain students, but also, from what I remember, they went after the Christian students. That was what I remember which was so chilling, is they looked for Christian students and they just, in cold blood, massacred. And I just forgot that all of this happened in 1999. I forgot. Looking back in a retrospective is amazing because you see things, you see it from the beginning to the end point of it in a more of a panorama in a way. It feels like a panoramic view. That's how the Most High Yah looks at history and time. He sees it in a panorama. He sees the beginning point and the end point all at one time, basically, if you could say that. It's beyond my comprehension. But I've heard people describe it as a parade. If you had a very long parade going down a long boulevard, the Most High Yah, he sits so high above the universe and creation. He created the universe. He's the creator. He can look at the parade from the first person to the very last person of the parade. He can see in real time at one, what we would say in one moment. He can see it. So he can look at the beginning and the end. He is the Alpha and the Omega. So time is under his ultimate auspice. So I'm not stressing over this stuff. I'm just observing it so that I can somewhat understand some of the things that we're looking at today. And I'm not worried about what's going to happen because my Savior, my Lord, sits above and outside of time. So it doesn't matter what these people think that they're doing with our time. Because TikTok, their time is up. So we can laugh because this is the humorous part of human history. This is when the people that rebel against the Most High Yah, they're going to get caught up in a lot of stupid things and they're going to look foolish. They're going to be embarrassed. And the Most High Yah will make a mockery of them. Basically, they will make a mockery of themselves. Because that's what happens to anyone who rebels against the Most High Yah and law and order. So next slide. I feel like I'm preaching. Am I preaching? I'm sorry. I'm just amazed at this year. So, okay, yeah, look at the images. Like, this is horrible what we have witnessed in this generation. I could say a generation right now, which is 40 years. And within a rewind, we're doing a 60-year rewind, which is a little more than a generation. But it's showing me that it's all been a mental, again, a psyop. If we knew better, we could have taken the wheel from these idiots a lot sooner, possibly, I'm thinking. And not wound up where we are. We had warning after warning. We had people from the Soviet Union warning us about where we were headed. We've been warned so much. The Most High Yah has sent his prophets to warn us, and we've ignored every warning. Next slide. So, next slide. So, In 1999, for the Atlanteans, they witnessed a tragedy, another massacre called the Atlanta Massacre, where some dweeb day trader just unalived some of his colleagues or whatever, just flipped out and took himself out and just went postal, as they say. Sorry for postal people, but that's the term they used when they started going postal. Just the violence that has been unleashed in our nation. It has to come to a head. Next slide. So in 1999, speaking of Minnesota, there's something I haven't done a study on Minnesota and that land, but I'm sure somebody has. I need to take some time and look at TikTok. I bet somebody on TikTok or probably YouTube here has done a deep dive on Minnesota, and the land out there is something very significant with Minnesota and what we are seeing today. But there's a stronghold spiritually out there. But in 1999, we had, speaking of tinfoil, like I told you, let the foil flow, because Jesse the Body Ventura became was it the governor of Minnesota? Yeah. He became, okay, what we see as Tim Walz, he was the governor of Minnesota. Now, I did not pay attention to his time as governor, but to think that this is Jesse the Body Ventura, who had a few iterations in what he was doing. I mean, we see the obvious, but also he had a television show called Conspiracy Theory. And I caught some of it. But it's just fascinating how I think about these things now, and it just gives me pause. So, yeah. Next slide. And then we have Prince. Minnesota, you all. And this is a man who, he knew a lot, of course. He put a lot of hidden symbols in his music. I used to be a fan of Prince, but I repented of being a fan, because what is that, a fanatic? And I collected his music, but I was always somewhat in my spirit not comfortable with a lot of things about Prince, but I liked him still. I got caught up in a rapture of Prince. But Prince he used his influence in a negative way. He had a lot of influence and power, a lot of charisma and magnetic attraction. But he played a game with his dual side, his feminine, as they say, and masculine. He did a lot of occult rituals on his fans. And I don't want to take too much time up to get into it, but I used to listen to his lyrics, and that's what made me begin to pull away from his music, because I was being, what they say, convicted in my spirit about his music and what he was influencing in us. And this is what he says, like this song, 1999. Don't worry, I won't hurt you. I only want you to have some fun. I was dreaming when I wrote this. Forgive me if it goes astray. But when I woke up this morning, could have sworn it was Judgment Day. The sky was all purple. There were people running everywhere, trying to run from the destruction. You know I didn't even care. Say, 2000 party over, oops, out of time. So tonight I'm going to party like it's 1999. I was dreaming when I wrote this, so sue me if I go too fast. Life is just a party, and parties weren't meant to last. War is all around us. My mind says prepare to fight. So if I gotta die, I'm gonna listen to my body tonight. Yeah. They say 2000 party over, oops, out of time. So tonight I'm gonna party like it's 1999. Yeah. Let me tell you something. If you didn't come to party, don't bother knocking on my door. I got a lion in my pocket, and baby, he's ready to roar. Yeah. Everybody's got a bomb. We could all die any day. Ooh, but before I let that happen, I'll dance my life away. Oh, they say 2000 party over, oops, out of time. We're running out of time. Tonight we gonna party like it's 1999. We gonna, say it one more time. 2000 party over, oops, out of time. No, tonight I'm gonna, yeah. So tonight we gonna party like it's 1999. We gonna, all right, it's 1999. You say it, 1999, 1999, 1999. Don't stop, say it one more time. 2000 party over, oops, out of time. Damn, this is a long, y'all. Okay, I'm almost done. What the heck? I didn't know it was all this. Okay, where did I stop? All right, yeah. Tonight tonight we're gonna party like it's 1999. We gonna, yeah. Don't you wanna go 1999? Don't you wanna go 1999? We could all die any day, 1999. I don't wanna die. I'd rather dance my life away, 1999. Listen to what I'm trying to say. Everybody say party. Come on now, you say party. That's right. Everybody say party. Can't run from the revelation, no party. Sing it for your nation, y'all. Party. Tell me what you're singing, baby. Say party. Telephones are ringing, mama. Party. Come on. You say party. Everybody get down. Party. Work it down to the ground. Say party. Come on, take my body, baby, party. That's right. Come on, sing the song, party. That's right, party. Got a lion in my pocket, mama. Say party. Oh, and he's ready to roar, party. Mommy, why does everybody have a bomb? Mommy, why does everybody have a bomb? This was written by Prince Rogers Nelson. It was released 2016, but the actual song was written in 1982, so you were correct. I bet you didn't think I was going to read all the lyrics to 1999. I've never heard anybody read it, so there's a first. What a piece of art! Wow, Rogers Nelson, what the heck? Minneapolis, Minnesota, what the hell's going on in the water? Didn't Prince tell you had to go and dip yourself in the waters of Minnetonka? Didn't he tell Apollonia He said you got to go and purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka. So is that what's going on in Minnesota? Is it the Lake Minnetonka going on? Because I know in Philadelphia, we're cuckoo because of the Schuylkill water. The Schuylkill water makes us crazy in Philly. So maybe that's what makes you guys cuckoo in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Maybe it's Lake Minnetonka. Does anybody know? All right, let's keep going. I've taken the proper amount of time for Prince because he pretty much is kind of the guest of honor in a way of this year and the psyop. Okay, next slide. Okay, boy, that was a doozy. Wow. Oh, put your seatbelt a little bit tighter. I forgot. If you think Prince was a doozy, just get ready for this. All right, where's Karen? Karen, I won't go on until Karen lets me know she's still. Karen, are you paying attention to this right here? This one's a doozy. This one's a doozy. Wait until you hear this. If you know what this is, tell me. Put it in the chatmosphere. If you know what this is. I did not know what this was. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Karen, are you here? Okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to see if Karen, wait, this is a trip right here. Okay, so in 1999, we had, wow. All right. The Holy Doors of St. John Lateran in Rome. All right, so we're on the Julian calendar, Roman calendar, and the Roman Catholic Pope opened the doors of St. John Lateran at the Archbasilica of St. John Lateran in Rome. And they described this door as a sacred portal in preparation for the great jubilee of the third millennium. If anybody can do math, millennium math for me, what does that mean? The great jubilee of the third millennium. Can somebody calculate that, please, on your phone or on your laptop? All right, so this is only opened up during Jubilee years. And currently, in January, this January that we're talking about right now, of 2026, the Holy Door is closed. So it was closed. It was opened during the 2025 Jubilee of Hope. And it was officially sealed at the end of 2025. So this sacred portal is opened up to mark a jubilee. The next scheduled opening of this sacred portal is expected in 2050. They say, though a special great jubilee may occur in 2033 to commemorate 2,000 years since the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So what I wanted to say when I saw, because this is amazing. I've been on this Jubilee thing, and look at my t-shirt. It says American Jubilee. Can you see it? American Jubilee on my t-shirt. I've been into this Jubilee thing since 2020. If you all remember my old channels, like you remember, I talked about Jubilee a lot. I didn't understand it at the time. But knowing that Jubilee is 50 years, every 50 years. So if they had a jubilee where the door was opened in 1999. So then 50 years, right, from 1999, how does that land them at 2033 or 2050 for the next jubilee? I don't know. Can you do some jubilee math for me and help me calculate what is it that they are trying to do with this? Because I'm going to give it some more thought, but I just wanted to put it out there for now. So let's look at the next slide, please. So we have some stuff that's really interesting with time and jubilee cycles and opening portals. So this is the Basilica in Rome. And I just want to show how the architecture is, what it looks like. Because a lot of us are into architecture and studying what has happened in our realm. Why does all this architecture look the same all over the world? Strange. I find that suspicious. So the next slide. So we look at more of the interior of this basilica. It's amazing. Hardly looks like it was built for people our height. But that's all I'll say for now. And let's go to the next slide. So this is how it looks inside of this great basilica. These cathedrals, I believe, were used for other purposes. It just doesn't seem like something this grand would be used for the things that they're used for now. Yes, Corinne. Hey, yes. Giants, right? Next slide. We call them giants, but it's more so we might be the Lilliputians. And they are normal sized. Could that be? So in 1999, we had the issue of streaming, file sharing, and copyright issues with Napster. Do you remember the whole issue with Napster and music? And we're back to the issue of proprietary music and how a lot of artists are taken advantage of. But this young guy, he wanted to make music more, I guess, open sourced. I never understood the real Napster thing, but it was a file sharing. So if you bought music, you could share it with friends and anybody. I don't know, but you had Metallica, they were on Napster. So there you are. But the young man that started Napster, he made a lot of money, a young guy. And I don't know what he's doing today, but he did have to pay out a lot, and Napster's not around anymore. You downloaded so much old Napster. We have some Napsters in the house. Yes, I know I use Napster, so yeah. So next, and they even took some of the young people to a trial that were using Napster. They wanted to scare everybody, like, just take a young person and use them as an example type of a thing. So I don't know. The whole thing it seems antiquated now, but it's still relative to a lot. So let's look at the next slide. Who else used Napster? Now, again, with time not being linear, when it comes to Venezuela and the issue we're seeing now in Venezuela, well, back in 1999, Venezuela had a very weird flash flood from torrential rainfall. and thousands of people died, and it totally collapsed the infrastructure. So when I look at the pictures and look at these pictures and just look at how unbelievable that is to have a flash, this happens in a flash. And it looks like the mud floods of the past. So Venezuela has had some strange things. I haven't put it together all the way yet. But in 1999, Venezuela, they entered, now tell me if this isn't weird. They entered into the Antarctic Treaty. So I'm not trying to be too tinfoilish, but you don't find that suspicious? Or is it just me? You don't find that suspicious? When Venezuela entered into the Antarctic, what do they call it? The Antarctic Treaty System, is the same year they had a mud flood, basically. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm being tinfoily, but next slide. I guess it doesn't mean anything. I'm just making stuff up. And in 1999, they had a steamship, a very opulent steamship was located. And this is after 100 years that it disappeared. I guess they found it, but it was called the SS Waratah. And it disappeared in 1909 without a trace. No wreckage, nothing. A luxury steamer. And you can look at the interior. It was beautiful. So a lot of these steamers, these are the ghost ships that I have a theory that this is how they got rid of a lot of the heirs of America. I believe they put them on ships. The ones that carried the titles that were tied to the things that mattered, like the Magna Carta, the things that really tie people to real things, royalty titles, things. I believe they sunk people on these ships that they call them ghost ships and all these weird stories. It's just my theory. I haven't quite fleshed it out. It's something that is just, I don't know. It came to me that it could be possible. I don't know. I have some family members that I suspect something happened, like literally. I have a couple of aunties from that time period. They used to ride steamers and go to Europe. And one of them died young. I don't know the story. I haven't looked into it, but something weird with her death and the way that her bedroom was kept like a museum. Nobody went. It was sealed and it was kept just like when she lived. And I accidentally opened the door one day and it looked very Victorian, like from from another period of time, the Victorian period of time. It was decorated Victorian. And I got in trouble. Her sister, my Aunt Waleen, was like, shut the door. I wasn't supposed to open it. I didn't know. So I don't know what's there, but something is weird. And American history is starting to be revealed more. But I'll just say that I suspect something like that. Tina's here. Good evening. Yay, Tina. Welcome. Let's go to the next slide. So this is when chat rooms pretty much took over our community type of things that we had. We started to pour into chat rooms, virtual worlds. And we've been in this
metaverse of a virtual world since 1999. And when you think about the timeline of when we entered into this virtual world and what it has done to us as a culture, as a society. So we had chat rooms. Instead of chatting with each other across the table, we started chatting with each other like we're doing now. It's still that we're in this metaverse, this internet realm. And this is how we connect with each other. And we have agreed to do it this way. So the chat room became a real cultural phenomenon. So next slide. And in terms of the media and film and television and things like that, you can see that it was a lot going on. Well, Lance Armstrong, he was a really big influencer. He had won the Tour de France and he was a big, big thing. And like somebody mentioned, he was dating Sheryl Crow, we heard, and maybe things didn't go so well with them. She may not have thought that maybe he was so nice. I don't know. Just what I can remember of that, it didn't go too well for them. But it did go well for Susan Lucci because she won an Emmy and she became this meme of the person that gets overlooked every year. And I thought that was a weird thing to do to her. Susan Lucci, who played Erica Kane, she was the perfect villain and she really put her all into this and she did this for years. A lot of us watched Erica Kane. And to think that they overlooked Susan Lucci for all those years, it makes me wonder, were they putting her through a ritual, like just being mean on purpose? Like it's cringe. Like to think that they were withholding recognition for her work. You loved every year. You loved Erica Kane. I mean, she was the perfect villainess. So yeah, so that was that, and then we had a weird thing happen with the writer, King, Stephen King. He was in a strange accident, a freak accident. Do you remember that? He just, when I look at him, he really gives me the creeps. Just something about that guy. He used to be big on Twitter before Elon bought Twitter, and he just had a lot of woke, ultra left liberal leanings. He might still be on there spewing. He's probably crashing out now about ice in Minnesota, ice. So I don't know what he's up to, but I know he used to just his weirdest takes on what used to be Twitter. And then we had SpongeBob SquarePants came on the scene, and also the Family Guy. My goodness. And The Sopranos. Then we had also we had Lance Armstrong, but we also had the Tony Hawk was big at the time with the skateboarding and winning these competitions, and he has now gone off to do some strange things with his blood being painted on a skateboard or something, right? I don't know, something, I think it was him. Weird stuff. And then we had the Fight Club. I never watched that movie, Fight Club. I don't know, wasn't my type of genre, so I stayed away from Fight Club. But I heard it was a good movie. And then we had American Beauty with Kevin Spacey and Mira Sorvino, I think is her name. Very dark movie about divorce and just bitterness and wickedness. So it has a lot of references that people have decoded in the movement. What we started hearing in 2016, 2017 and 2020. So a lot of symbolism from American Beauty. Remember the scene with Mira Sorvino in the bathtub with the rose petals? That has a lot of symbolism. So then we also now go on to Eyes Wide Shut. If that doesn't tell you anything about 1999, just think about this. All of this was being, we were consuming this. So we have Eyes Wide Shut, and we have also the movie with the kid that says, I see dead people, The Sixth Sense. And we also have another weird psychological movie called Being John Malkovich, which I did watch that. And I can't tell you that I totally understood that movie. I found it very disturbing, and just the thought of it, I don't know. This was a weird time period. So we had Being John Malkovich. And so, wow. American Pie also came out. So you have American Pie, American Beauty, Eyes Wide Shut, The Sixth Sense, Being John Malkovich, Fight Club, The Matrix, SquarePants SpongeBob, The Family Guy, The Sopranos, and just wow. Also, we had Office Space, which I did like that. I like that movie. Okay, so next slide. You didn't understand it either, Wyoming chick? You didn't understand the Malkovich movie? Maybe it was too intellectual for me. I'm not there yet with them. So also in 1999, we have to talk tech here. A little more tech, sorry people. We had the Melissa virus that hit in 1999. This was a $80 million cyber crime that it foreshadowed our modern threats. So an internet news group they named it AltSex. The posting promised dozens of free passwords to free-based websites with adult content. So when users took the bait, because this was a trick and a trap for men looking for porno. And these are the tricks that men they've been caught up in a lot of these psyops. If you remember the one, and it had a name of a woman, another woman, and men were going on the site to find dates. Married men, do you remember married men were going on this site to find dates? And it turned out to be a trap, that they were exposed as being people that were going, like, seeking out women to have affairs with, like a dating site for married men. Do you remember that? This reminds me of that. So this was a foreshadowing of this kind of stuff. So we have these users taking the bait and downloading the document and then opening it with Microsoft Word, and a virus was unleashed on their computers. And it began spreading like wildfire on the internet. So the Melissa virus was named after a stripper in Florida. Don't you love it? Next slide. So you have a computer virus named after a stripper in Florida that went by the name of Melissa. So the man that created this worm, the Melissa worm, he got in trouble. Okay, so he was the guy that created this worm. I don't know why you would do that. And he got in a lot of trouble. Mr. Smith is his name. Isn't that ironic? His name is Smith. So Mr. Smith ended up getting in trouble with the feds. So there you are. Next slide. Crazy, right? Let's see. Hold it. Because there was one more thing I want to say about before I go on. Let me tell you one more thing. The Melissa virus. Let me give you the name of this guy. His name is David Lee Smith. He hijacked an AOL America Online account. He was a programmer. Yeah, so he created a file, like I said, a news group, internet news group named Alt Sex. And he promised, like I said, all of these things. And yeah, it started to take over all the computers and spread. So yeah, that was his name, Smith, which I find, yeah, keep that held for a minute. So now we have the very dramatic case of Elian Gonzalez, a Cuban boy who unfortunately was the only survivor. His mother and his mother's boyfriend, she wasn't married to this man, they wanted to escape Cuba and come to America. So she puts her son in a inner tube, and they drowned, the mother and the boyfriend. And Elian survived, Elian Gonzalez. So he got caught up with his family in Miami, which were not direct family, but cousins, from what I understand, some kind of second, not even first cousins, like some kind of second, third cousin situation. But we're talking cousins, maybe aunts, and not directly in the inner sanctum of the, family. Extended family, as we call. But they wanted to make a call for this boy based on materialism of America and how they felt it was in his best interest that he could go to Disneyland, Disney World. He could get a PlayStation. He could have all this material stuff. Yet his father is back in Cuba. His grandparents on both sides are back in Cuba. He has half siblings, cousins, friends, whatever, back in Cuba. But they wanted to make a case that it was in his best interest to stay in America because he could go to Disney World. If that isn't the stupidest thing. And they went and raided the home where they were hiding. They refused to give this child up to the authorities so he could be sent back, deported back to Cuba, where he belonged. Even a little child, I am saying, needed to be deported. That was the kindest thing to do for this child who got caught up in a dangerous situation that his mother chose, trying to come to America illegally. So they turned him into a political puppet theater. Next slide. So this is a picture of Elian's mother. Unfortunately, she lost her life trying to get here to America, the country that everybody claims is so racist and so horrible, but you have people dying to get here. Isn't that interesting? Dying to get here, literally. But I want to show you Elian as he has grown up very nicely. You can look, I don't know if he's still with this young lady. She's very pretty. They look very good together. He looks like he has done well with himself. If you can just look at it, I think he looks great. And I hope he is doing well and is prospering. And I will continue to pray that Cuba will open up and not be oppressed by an ideology that is demonic, satanic, Luciferian, communism, Marxism, socialism, has cursed the good people of Cuba, the crown jewel in the Antilles Islands. It is the crown jewel. And it needs to be opened up. And these people need to be freed from the oppression. Everybody wants to act like they're oppressed here in America. No, go to Cuba and you'll see what oppression is. You dum-dums. Want to cry about America and everything and practice communism in America. Go to Cuba and really live in communism and see how it is. Next slide. Not to mention in Cuba, they're practicing a lot of dark magic out of Africa, and they're cursing their land because they're worshiping idols and demons. So they need to stop doing that in Cuba. And maybe the oppression, their spiritual oppression would lift if they started to recognize the God of the universe in Cuba. That's just my little side note. What do I know? I've only lived there and traveled there a few times. Okay, back to our regular 1999 timeline. So we had in 1999, if it wasn't enough going on, we have the sudden, unfortunate death of one of America's promising political ascensions, I'll say, to finish a job that was started by his father, who, if you look at the full circle, a lot about Cuba, a lot about Israel, a lot about foreign interests in our government, his father had a lot to say about it. And he had a little bit too much to say about secret societies and how we shouldn't have them. And, his son didn't bite his tongue. He called Joe Biden a traitor. He called him out really early in the game. He would have been our next president. Hillary Clinton basically ascended to the Senate seat in New York because he conveniently died in a plane crash. That, I don't know, it's a lot of weird details around that death. I won't take too much time. Maybe we'll do another deep dive and reconnect with some of the research we were doing in 2020 around these details. But the narrative is that he was buried at sea on a Navy vessel, and he was given a burial at sea that you would give a naval officer. And 17 members of the Kennedy family were aboard that vessel to pay honor to him as they threw his ashes, he was Catholic, at sea. Make sense of it. I won't get into it, but let's keep moving, okay? Next slide. I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. So I want to look at these headlines and let's look at the wording that they've used. If you look at, this is a picture of the airplane that JFK died, and his sister-in-law and his wife, Carolyn. And this is the wreckage of the remnants. And we don't want to get into this too much, but a lot of us know some things about the wreckage and the details around the wreckage. But let's look at I just want us to look at the headlines and why some of the words seem interesting. So they say JFK Jr. feared dead. So he's feared dead. JFK Jr. lost in plane crash. Lost. JFK Jr. wife presumed dead in plane crash off Vineyard. So they presumed, they feared that he was lost. And that's all I'll say. Next slide. I learned how to fly planes like that, little Piper Cessna. They're fun. It's like a little toy. Okay, moving on. We have The Matrix. So wow, look at that. Everything about 1999. You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious that The Matrix came out? So we have The Matrix. And we have Neo and Morpheus and the Oracle and everything about this movie being I don't know, it's a deep one if you decode it. Allegory, what is it? Metaphor? What are we talking about? It was written by a woman who is, she says her work was stolen by these brothers that then turned around and I think they became trans, right? She was fighting them in court. She's spoken with people about this. She basically says that this comes right out of the Bible. She was decoding things and this was her work, and they did not present her work in the way that she would have. But it's at this point, the damage is done. But the movie that we got to watch still had a lot in it. Even though it was not done the way that she would have appreciated, it still communicated a lot of truth. But I find the Oracle to be, I love when I saw her, because she reminds me of my family member. She looks like my Aunt Eleanor. And just the kitchen scene and just the archetype of it. And it's just a lot more I could say, but again, we're getting into a long, well, you told me you don't mind the long one. One of my buddies out there, I don't know, Jess, are you out there, you and your hubby? She told me they were watching, but I don't think she can comment. But if you're watching, Jess and hubby, hello. And they do a lot of renovations and things like that. And I was saying, oh yeah, a long show is probably good if you're doing a project. Like, yeah, I want to do a show where if you're doing a renovation, something like that, hopefully you're not arguing with each other. It's not like the money pit. But yeah, if you're doing like a project around the house and you want to put something on to listen to, I want to give you something that you might like, okay? Give me feedback if you want to hear something, because I'll do other live streams outside of when I do these live streams for the retrospectives of the 60 years, if I'm going to do the live stream, I usually do it on a Tuesday or a Thursday or a Saturday. I'll let you know if you are on Instagram or Facebook. I let people know which day I'm going to do it, but it's usually on one of those days. If I do a live stream outside of those days, it's usually like something that, I have so much stuff that I want to talk about. I don't get to do it. And sometimes I just feel like I want to talk about this. I want to hear what they say. So I'll do something outside of this retrospective whenever, it hits me and I have some time. But bear with me. My time is going to free up a little bit more. But I'll keep you posted. Marmar, do we have another slide or is this it? Did we end on The Matrix? No. Was that it? The Matrix was it? I think so. Everybody, I think that's it for our 1999 retrospective of this very interesting, very suspicious year before the new millennium. So that's when I'll see you next for episode 36. It'll be the year 2000, according to the with Julian calendar. I almost forgot, everybody, the Julian calendar. Corinne says, I do know the Matrix is a documentary. There you go. That's right. That's what they say. Okay, so let me see. Was there anything else that I missed in this retrospective? Boy, it was a lot going on, right? One more. Oh, that might be it. Okay, I think I covered anything I missed. It was just a lot going on, but I tried to get the highlights of the year. Well, we better party like it's 1990. That's what Tina says. Well, we better. Boy, can you imagine? I read the entire lyrics to that song. It was a lot of lyrics. Yeah. Thank you all again. Appreciate it. I'll see you soon. And take good care. And we are headed for our American Jubilee. Bye-bye.